For over 2,000 years, humanity has feared stories about creatures hiding beneath dark water. But one monster stood above all the others, a creature so horrifying that every time one of its heads was cut off, more would grow back. Most people call it mythology. But what if the Hydra legend was inspired by something real? Because the deeper you investigate the origins of this creature, the stranger the evidence becomes. Real swamps, real poisonous gases, real two-headed animals, and even living organisms that can regenerate themselves almost endlessly. Tonight, we're uncovering the terrifying origins of the Hydra and why ancient Greece may have believed this monster truly existed. But trust me, the final theory is the most disturbing of all. The Hydra comes from ancient Greek mythology. According to legend, it lived within the cursed swamps of Lerna near the city of Argos. Ancient writers described it as a gigantic serpent-like creature with many heads, poisonous blood, and breath so deadly it could kill anyone nearby. But the most terrifying detail was this: every time one head was destroyed, two more would grow back. To modern audiences, the Hydra sounds impossible, but ancient civilizations viewed monsters very differently than we do today, because thousands of years ago, nature itself was terrifying. The oceans were unexplored, dense forests hid predators, and deep swamps were places people genuinely feared entering, especially places like Lerna. And this is where things become unsettling, because Lerna was real. It wasn't an imaginary kingdom invented for a story. The swamps actually existed, located in southern Greece near modern-day Miloi. The region was once covered in thick marshland, underground springs, black water, and poisonous fog. Even ancient historians described the area as cursed. And according to modern researchers, people genuinely died there. Historians believe toxic swamp gases and deadly diseases may have killed travelers who entered the marshes. Imagine living over 2,000 years ago, watching healthy people vanish into fog-covered swamps, only for their bodies to never return. No visible predator, no explanation, just death. To ancient people, that wouldn't feel natural. It would feel monstrous. And perhaps that's how the Hydra began. But the next theory becomes even stranger, because some researchers believe the Hydra may have been inspired by real animals, specifically snakes. Ancient Greece was home to large serpents and venomous vipers, but one species stands out more than any other: the nose-horn viper, one of the deadliest snakes in the Balkans. And unlike what many people realize, snakes sometimes gather together in tangled masses. Now imagine seeing multiple snakes twisting together in thick swamp fog at night. To terrified villagers, it could easily resemble one creature with many heads, especially if fear and storytelling exaggerated the encounter over generations. But this next detail is where the legend becomes genuinely eerie, because something called a Hydra actually exists today. Not the giant monster from mythology, but a tiny freshwater organism scientists named after it. And the reason why is fascinating. This creature possesses astonishing regenerative abilities. Even after being cut apart, its cells reorganize themselves and grow into entirely new organisms. In other words, it regenerates, just like the mythical Hydra. Scientists obviously don't believe giant, immortal monsters roamed ancient Greece, but witnessing regeneration in nature may have inspired stories of creatures that could regrow heads endlessly. And nature gets stranger than most people realize, because over the centuries, ancient civilizations uncovered enormous unexplained bones buried beneath the earth. Massive skulls, giant vertebrae, enormous reptilian remains. Today, we understand fossils. Ancient people did not. So imagine discovering gigantic serpent bones with absolutely no scientific explanation. To them, these weren't fossils, they were monsters. Greek historians even recorded stories about giant serpent remains discovered near caves and battlefields. Most were likely exaggerated, but fossil discoveries have influenced monster legends across nearly every civilization in history. And then we arrive at the most disturbing theory of all. What if ancient people were remembering real predators thousands of years ago? Humans shared the world with creatures far larger and more dangerous than many animals alive today. Massive crocodiles, enormous snakes, unknown predators hiding within rivers and swamps. So it raises a terrifying possibility. Could fragmented memories of ancient reptiles have evolved into the Hydra legend over generations? Honestly, that's entirely possible. And what makes this even creepier is that reports of giant serpents still continue around the world today. From African river legends to massive snake stories deep within the Amazon rainforest. And perhaps that's why the legend survived for thousands of years. Because even now, the thought of something ancient rising from dark water still feels possible. So was the Hydra simply mythology? A warning hidden inside ancient stories? Or a distant memory distorted by fear and time? Whatever the truth may be, some monsters never truly disappear. If you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe, and feel free to drop a comment.